Hi, everyone.
Welcome back. Today we're going to do another July book haul because we're crazy and we buy books all the time.
No
No
self-control.
problem about that.
We need to
So
stop.
I'll go ahead and get started. I have 8 books today for me, and 4 of them I have already read. I just haven't had a copy of them. All of them are on my list, and 4 I have not. And I'll start with The Star's My Destination by Alfred Bester. This is a book about humans have created a society where they can teleport. They call it Jante, at least that's the sound I gave it when I read it. This was suggested to me by my college roommate, and this was the only science fiction book he had ever read. And it turned out to be one of the 100 best of all time, which by several metrics. So,
Well, he picked a good one.
yeah,
There.
and it is. It was a really good book. I'm glad I actually read it because I was still becoming a reader at that time. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's good.
So kind of like Jumper, then, right? The movie.
Jumper actually did have a lot of parallels
Really?
to that story. Yeah,
I liked the movie, but I like trash
it was
movies,
actually
so.
kind of weird when I saw the previews for that first. I'm like, did they make a Stars My Destination movie?
That's awesome.
I was part excited, horrified, like if they had cast Hayden Christensen.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't remember who they cast, but like.
Oh, it was Anakin Skywalker.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
See, I was thinking it was the kid that they cast for Maze Runner, but you're probably right because that came out like a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Maze Runner kid was probably like 5 years old.
Okay. I forget. Time flies.
I know. Where did it go?
Ugh. Okay. So, Kristen from Vienna Waits Books has been talking about this book. She just started this and made it sound so amazing that when I saw it for such a good price, I had to pick it up. This is Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel, and this is a nice hardback cover. This is a translated novel translated by Carol and Thomas Christensen. I don't know a lot about the story, but I do know that each chapter starts with a recipe, and the descriptions of food are very integral to the story, and it's very family-friendly, like food-oriented story.
Sounds like a book that'll make you hungry.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of these recipes look great, so I don't know.
I'll have to try some out.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, my next one is I've got a lot of classics here.
Nice.
H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. I actually read this last month, and it's part of my wrap-up from last month. This is a really good story. It's really small, but it's really fun, about exploration and written about the ideas of time travel from, a Industrial Revolution time.
Oh, okay.
And what their ideas of the mechanics of what would create time travel, and it's so different from today where it's like, well, you have to go faster than light and all
Right.
that stuff. It's like, oh no, I can just build this machine in my shop, and but it's so fun. It's such a fun book, and H.G. Wells,
awesome.
it's a classic, of course.
Like almost steampunk, like the level of not really taking modern science into
right, because the thing when he decides to actually get off the time machine and go explore this distant future world that he went to, he detaches the levers from the device so no one else could go back, time travel with him and strand him there. So
I guess it's smart.
Mm.
Don't get stranded. Okay, I was in our local secondhand bookstore and saw this beautiful copy of Moby Dick. This is the Barnes & Noble Classics edition, which has a bunch of footnotes and just a whole bunch of extra history bits in it. We've been talking a lot about Moby Dick lately, and if I want to go crazy and get really into this, I can go more in depth, or I can just stare at the beautifulness for a couple of years before I actually get up the nerve to tackle this big beast. I don't know. I'm kind of terrified because of the language and the size, and I've never read it.
I share your insecurities, but we talked about this. It's one I feel like you have to read if you're a big reader.
I picked up a graphic novel this month.
A Moby Dick graphic novel? For real?
For serious, it's right here.
Oh, nice.
I haven't read it yet. I'm too intimidated. No, I'm just kidding.
I think we did that on Library Hall.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. Yeah. All right, I've got another H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds. I love this story. The movies never captured it, but this story takes place in the time of the horse and buggy, when there's one rare motor car mentioned in this whole thing, and it's so fascinating. There's no atom bomb or anything like that. The ultimate weapon is an ironclad battleship. That's like, so it's so fascinating. Aliens. So fascinating having an alien invasion of an extremely advanced race in that kind of a time setting. So it's great and classic again.
That actually intrigues me a lot more than like the Tom Cruise running around.
Yeah. But the Tom Cruise movie did get the alien ships a lot more right. So they're kind of these weird like lanky tripod things that it's very retro.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, I saw this awesome movie cover edition of The Return of the King for $1, and it matches perfectly our movie edition of The Fellowship.
And now we'll just need movie edition cover of The Two Towers to read that. And I'm sure there's a movie edition cover of The Hobbit now also.
Oh my gosh! Martin Freeman on the front. I hope so. I love Martin Freeman.
Maybe it'll have Smog on
Benedict?
there too, so it'll be
not the dragon, just
together
Benedict
to get
Cumberbatch.
Right. All right, I already have a copy of this one, but I found a hardback with this awesome retro dust jacket at our local thrift store. Rendezvous with Rama by Arthur C. Clarke. This is one of my favorite books ever.
This is our copy.
This is the paperback mass print paperback that got. Oh, but this is so great. Is the rainbow dots.
The more I look at it, the more awesome it gets.
It is so great. It's again one of my favorite books ever.
It's absolutely fantastic. It was the first serious science fiction I read, and it was totally awesome. Is it on the top 100?
It is. Yes.
Woohoo! I actually went through your list, and I've read like 6, 7.
I think it was 8.
Was it 8?
Yeah, you've actually read a fair number of them. I was actually surprised. I bought Handmaid's Tale for you for like a birthday or something, and before I even realized that it was on the list or it had snuck up on there just recent time, and you read that way before I did.
Yeah, you read that last month, didn't you?
Earlier I've read it this year. I don't know the exact month I read it.
Yeah, that was a good one. Okay, the next one for me is Into the Wild by Jon Krakauer. I debated whether I wanted to get this or not because I've heard mixed reviews. But I figured I'd just jump in and give it a try. This, as far as I know, is about a guy who sells off all his worldly possessions and runs off into the woods for a spiritual journey.
I hear you take it one of two ways. Either you are angry at him or you're proud of him following his dreams.
Yeah.
So
I probably never would have picked this up except for I watched what was the Reese Witherspoon Wild, yeah, yes. Earlier this year, and I really enjoyed it, and I do intend to pick up the novel for that one, but I feel like this one is kind of in the same vein.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Just heading out on your own.
Yeah, kind of a journey.
All right, now on to the ones that I haven't read. I'm going to do two at the same time. Philip Jose Farmer's To Your Scattered Bodies Go and Peter F. Hamilton's The Reality Dysfunction. I found these just today at the local thrift store. She clued me in. It's like, you need to check out the thrift store. They've got a lot of books. And I went there, and I've been looking for these two for so long. I had to read the titles like 3 times over while they're on the shelves there to like process in my brain that it's, oh my goodness, they're actually there. So I am so glad to get to these. This is the first published, I think, in the Riverworld series. It's about where you go when you die. It's this, it's a lot like everyday life, but a little more crude of an environment. And there's these people from famous people of history, or characters that they were in their past life.
That's so awesome.
Fascinating. This one's about some kind of incident that's happening in the galaxy, universe, whatever, and there's an extinct alien race that might hold the key to what's called the Reality Dysfunction, or what some might call hell. So, those
awesome.
I'm so so glad I found this today. I'm still just beaming.
Nice. I told you they've got so many classics there.
They do, but the order is a little weird. I noticed some of them were alphabetized. Most of them were Dewey Decimal by author, but some, you have
to dedicate some
they were
time.
They were in there by like the author's first name or by the title.
Yeah,
you gotta be patient with it.
Okay, this one is Endurance, Shackleton's Incredible Voyage by Alfred Lansing. And I read the story of the Essex earlier this year, and this sounded very similar in that it is a ship that, in this case, gets frozen in the ice, and they are stranded. The crew is stranded and trying to survive. The Essex was sunk by a giant whale, which is awesome, which was the inspiration for Moby Dick. But anyways, this sounds awesome and terrifying because it's like a true survival story.
Yeah, I've seen some TV documentaries on it and just
Absolutely.
Some harrowing things that they went through.
Yeah, so this was set in 1914, this happened. And this just looks terrifying. But I'm excited to read it. The ocean is like the most terrifying thing ever for me. I'm just totally freaked out by it.
We went on a quick boat tour in Chicago on Lake Michigan, and she's like, I just have to keep looking at the shore and I'll be fine.
I had to. I was terrified.
That's the level it is.
Oh my god, it was so scary.
You made it through.
I did.
All right, this next one I've got is The Stainless Steel Rat by Harry Harrison. This was actually, I first heard of this from a college professor that recommended it to me when we were talking sci-fi books. I think I was reading Snow Crash at the time, and I mentioned it to him. But it's a slick criminal con man that gets caught by the authorities, and then they recruit him to do some dirty work, and so it's very 60s espionage sort of stuff. So
he's his own Suicide Squad.
Yeah, or Space James Bond, maybe.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, this next one is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafon. And this one my local library does not carry. And I've been trying to get my hands on it for a really long time. I don't know a lot about the story other than I think there's some sort of fantastical element in it. But the heart of the story, I think, is this kid who is entrusted with a book that he has to protect for his whole life. And when he is all grown up, he realizes that books are going missing or are being destroyed. I don't know if it's just that one book or it's books in general. But I don't know. It sounds awesome. It sounds like he's trying to help secure the written word for the next generation, and I hope that's what it is. I've heard that Carlos Zafon's writing is beautiful, and I'm very excited to get into this one.
Yeah. Little sprinklings of hints of Fahrenheit 451 in there. You haven't read that, so I won't spoil it.
I think I saw the movie.
Doesn't quite
do it.
The movie left out a really critical part in the book, or the part in the book that I identified the most with, or that stuck with me the most. And it was
okay.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it.
No, just spoilers. We'll talk about when you wrap up, when you finally read that.
Perfect.
All right, my last one is Frederik Pohl, Gateway, and I love this cover art, these retro spaceships, and then
awesome.
the gateway in there. So this one apparently is about some kind of mysterious gateway in space, and if you are rich enough, you can charter a spaceship to fly through it. And it could be utopia. It could be an existence of hell. It's you roll the dice on it. I don't know. That's about what the synopsis on the back said. But
it is so intriguing to me.
On the list, so I
need you to read it and then tell me. Because I need to know why they don't know.
And why someone's willing to take the risk?
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And my last one is In the Woods by Tanya French. And this one sounds absolutely creepy and amazing. This is a story about a group of children who go missing, and only one of the children is found, and they're covered in blood and can't remember anything. And that child grows up to be a detective and is called back into the area when other children go missing. And so it's them dealing with, obviously, some trauma and trying to get their memories back and trying to save the children. And they go hand in hand. The more memories they get back, the more likely they are to save the group of children. Ooh. Anyways, it sounds terrifying, and I've heard really good things about it. The guy at the bookstore was actually a little disappointed that I bought it so quickly because he didn't get a chance to read it yet, but I don't feel bad for him. So, anyways, that was our latest book haul, and hopefully our last.
Our last for July, I hope. Yeah.
I need to stop buying books.
We both do. So. All right, if you read anything or have any suggestions, go ahead and leave us a comment, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.